This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
So we've all been witness to Donald Trump in pressers over the course of the last few months promoting the drug hydroxychloroquine, the unproven and unendorsed. Actually, it's not even unendorsed. It's recommended that you don't take it by the FDA unless you're in a clinical trial or in a hospital. And Donald Trump admitted yesterday that he has been on a course of it. For about a week and a half, he's been taking hydroxychloroquine every day. As administered by the White House physician who is going against FDA guidelines. And listen, we're all smart enough that we can focus on two things at one time, multiple things at one time. I postulate that this is a distraction, and I'm going to go over why this is a complete distraction and it doesn't matter. But it's still, we can talk about it. We could talk about everything that happened afterward with all the tweets and the internet exploded when Nancy Pelosi, which I'm going to play a clip of, called him morbidly obese, which is hilarious. But first, let's play. Yesterday, Donald Trump did like a roundtable open to the press conference meeting with restaurant executives, restaurant people in the United States. And it was afterward. It was about an hour and 44 minutes. The last half hour or so was dedicated to questions. And of course, the press jumped on this moment to ask about all these different things. The distraction, which is about the State Department that I want to talk about, and everything else. First, let's play the clip of Donald Trump out of the blue admitting to the press, and by virtue of that, the American people, that he is on hydroxychloroquine right now.
And a lot of good things have come out about the hydroxy. A lot of good things have come out. And you'd be surprised at how many people are taking it, especially the frontline workers, before you catch it. The frontline workers, many are taking it. I happen to be taking it. I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. Because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories. And if it's not good, I'll tell you right, I'm not going to get hurt by it. It's been around for 40 years for malaria, for lupus, for other things. I take it. Frontline workers take it. A lot of doctors take it. A lot of doctors take it. I take it. Now, I hope to not be able to take it soon because, I hope they come up with some answer. But I think people should be allowed to.
Obviously, that was news to reporters. No one had heard that. He's never talked about that before. Now, Donald Trump has been exposed to people who have tested positive for coronavirus multiple times. But this last week was especially concerning because people in the inner circle dealing with the vice president and the president of the United States on a daily basis, multiple times a day, intertwined. Stephen Miller's wife has tested positive. She is the vice president's communications director or press secretary. It's concerning. We do want healthy leaders because if they are incapacitated by illness, they cannot lead. Now, Donald Trump's case, some would say that would be a positive thing if he's unable to actually do his job, whether poorly or well. He's not doing his job means he's not doing it. So that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I want to read the statement from the White House physician, Navy Commander Sean Conley, when asked about this. He said, after numerous discussions, he being Donald Trump, he and I had regarding the evidence for and against the use of hydroxychloroquine, we concluded the potential benefit from treatment outweighed the relative risks. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to substitute my insurmountable lack of knowledge about treating people for Commander Conley's. But I do know that when the Food and Drug Administration states that it should only be used in hospitals or clinical trials because the use of it can kill the patient or at the very least have serious side effects, some of which are creating heart rhythm problems, and, of course, death. Those risks seem substantial enough that you wouldn't want to treat the President of the United States of America with an unproven and, dare I say, dangerous drug. And Donald Trump always talks about it's been used for 40 years, 60 years, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, just because it's used for a long time doesn't mean there aren't side effects to it. So this was a firestorm yesterday, and then Nancy Pelosi went on Anderson Cooper and said this.
We started with the president's comments about that anti-malarial drug, hydroxychloroquine. Madam Speaker, what's your reaction to the president saying that he's now taking hydroxychloroquine? Are you concerned?
Well, first let me say how happy I am about your new baby. How lovely.
Oh, well,
Wyatt. Wyatt, how perfectly named. We all know why that is, and congratulations. And as you now are a father, you see how important it is to keep the world safe for the children, As far as the president is concerned, he's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientists, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So I think it's not a good idea.
Now look, this obviously was going to catch fire, and this was going to go crazy. And the internet did. President Plump, hashtag President Plump, is now trending on Twitter, as is hashtag morbidly obese. Some are a little incensed about this, bothered by this, explaining that it is bullying. It's using the same bullying language as Donald Trump, and we need to be better than that. With regard to how we run our country, we do need to be better. With regard to our leaders, we do need to expect more. But John Pavlovitz, he is a liberal pastor, I think, a Christian type, and he tweeted this. When you criticize Trump for his weight, you are telling overweight people they are ultimately a punchline. You are perpetuating the lie that worth is found in a number on the scale or around the waist. You're nurturing the cheap surface bullying he traffics in. Nancy Pelosi mentioned Trump being morbidly obese because it's a medical term, and she was talking about the risks of a drug with that particular condition. I'm not claiming she was taking a cheap shot. The people running with President Plump are, and that's the problem. Look, John, coming from somebody who could stand to lose a couple pounds there, brother, this isn't bullying. Explain to me in what scenario people can bully the President of the United States of America, the Commander-in-Chief of the armed forces of the greatest military this earth has ever known. What bullying is being done? This is classic punching up. Secondly, it is funny and not a problem because Donald Trump puts himself out there as some sort of Olympic athlete. The greatest, strongest, the best, I'm the fastest, I'm the smartest. This is a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. Come on. Let's calm down with the, we're trafficking, you're nurturing the cheap surface bullying that he traffics in. Calm down. Donald Trump has enough defenders. He doesn't need you, sir. But this is a distraction. Even the timeline of how this went down, this particular comment of his admitting that he's on this, was a distraction. Because only minutes before, Donald Trump was asked about his firing of Steve Linick, the Inspector General of the State Department, who now we're learning was investigating Mike Pompeo for a Saudi arms deal worth billions of dollars that he was trying to keep hidden from the United States Congress, which has to approve that. So Donald Trump gets asked this question, a series of questions about it, and then only minutes later throws the bomb about hydroxychloroquine, in my opinion, in an attempt to, at the very least, dilute the coverage of the State Department thing, which he certainly did, because the press went crazy. That's all they talked about. It distracted from the story of the State Department. There are only so many hours in a day. Hadn't Trump done this, the only story on the docket yesterday, aside from coronavirus coverage, would have been the State Department Inspector General being fired. Being fired at the behest of Mike Pompeo. Watch, I'm going to play two clips here. Watch the first one. This is the moment where Donald Trump admits that Mike Pompeo asked him to do it.
Explain, sir, why you decided to fire the Inspector General at the State Department?
Yeah, I don't know him at all. I never even heard of him. But I was asked to by the State Department, by Mike. I offered most of my people, almost all of them, I said, these are Obama appointees, and if you'd like to let him go, I think you should let him go, but that's up to you. He's an Obama employee. I understand he had a lot of problems with the DOD. There was an investigation on him, on the Inspector General. I don't know anything about it. So I don't know him. Never heard of him, but they asked me to terminate him. I have the absolute right as president to terminate. I said, who appointed him? And they said, President Obama. I said, look, I'll terminate him. I don't know what's going on other than that, but you'd have to ask Mike Pompeo.
Look, we've had Donald Trump as president for 3 years now. When does Donald Trump admit to not knowing anything about something? That's not in his nature. When Donald Trump says, but I don't know anything about it, I don't know the guy, I don't know. That's only, well, one, I think it's lies because he's the president and he's a micromanager. But also, it doesn't fit with his character. He's a guy who never wants to admit not knowing something. He wants to be the best, the smartest, the fastest, like I said. We've bore witness to that. It gets even worse, though, because not only did he admit that Mike Pompeo instructed him or asked him to fire this gentleman who was investigating him, when asked about the Saudi arms deal and that element of it, he again doubles down I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything. Oh, I'm just a guy here. Who knows? Watch.
Secretary Pompeo was reportedly under investigation both for having staffers do personal errands like walking his dog and picking up his dry cleaning, and concerns that he may have subverted the will of Congress with Saudi deals with Saudi arms deals. Are you concerned that he may have made this request to avoid an investigation?
Well, I don't know anything about it. I heard about it at the same time maybe you heard about it. I don't know anything about it. I mean, you mean he's under investigation because he had somebody walk his dog from the government? I don't know. Doesn't sound, I don't think it sounds like that important. I mean, you have a man that's supposed to be, and he's a brilliant guy, #1 at West Point, #1 at Harvard, I believe, Harvard Law School or close. But he was #1 at West Point, #1 at Harvard Law School, or very close to #1. And they're bothered because he's having somebody walk his dog, as you're telling me. I didn't know that. I didn't hear that. I didn't know about an investigation.
Again, it was only minutes later, after these two exchanges, that Donald Trump brought up the hydroxychloroquine thing. I'm just putting pieces together here. Maybe these puzzle pieces don't fit, but it seems very reasonable to draw the conclusion that this was an orchestrated distraction moment. Because, one, when does Donald Trump ever admit freely that he doesn't know? I don't even know anything about that. This is a guy who acts like he has a stranglehold on governance, on leadership. He knows everything that's going on, unless it's something negative. And this most certainly is something negative that he's distancing himself from. An illegal arms deal with Saudi Arabia, a nation led by a murderer, Mohammed bin Salman. Anyway, food for thought. I'd love to know what you think. 714-576-4054. daily@dollemore.com. Thank you guys for joining me as often as you do. I appreciate the community that we're building here. If you appreciate it as well, I would love for you to tell a friend about little or not so little Jesse. Tell a friend. Share a video. Like, comment, do all the YouTube-y type of YouTube stuff. And if you're in a financial position to do so, I would love to have you support me and my work here on YouTube by becoming a channel member for fewer than $2 a month. You can join, and I send out stickers. I just sent another batch of stickers out, got some new stickers in. So if that's your thing, and it wouldn't be something you'd have to budget in, if you're in a solid financial position, you'd be able to do it, please consider it. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Be genuine. Take care of one another.